Well, hello and welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Spiral podcast that is still, I think, yet to be named. We're working on one. I'm going to be one of your hosts here today, Sol, and I'm joined by one of my, in my mind, I think, recent colleague, because you're relatively new to Spiral, but you've been here for a good while now. So I don't think new colleague is really the right term, but I'm joined by Linda. How are you doing, Linda?
Hi, Sol. How are you?
Doing great. You've been here for a while now, haven't you? And yeah, I don't know. To me, it still feels like it's new, but yeah, you've been here for
I think that's because we only meet up maybe a couple of times a month, but it'll be a year in October.
really already. Wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't feel like it at all. Time flies by when you're having fun, eh? But yeah, we're just here to have a little bit of a chat about some of the services that we've kind of recently started doing at Spiral. Right, we both started doing a new type of service. Because as you guys might be aware, Spiral, we already kind of offer a one-to-one, and we do some other things. We do some game nights, peer support, online peer supports, community. We do a couple of other things, but me and you have both recently started doing drop-ins, right? Where it's kind of like a come-as-you-go thing. I'm not sure the exact right words to describe it.
So, drop-ins for me are something that we've pre-organised with certain schools, where instead of us attending the school to meet somebody that's been referred to our services by either the school or a parent, we sort of drop into the school for a certain amount of time. The school are aware that we are there in a private space, and they are then able to choose people that they think would benefit from our service and a time with myself or you, Sol, in that time period of 45 to 50 minutes or whatever it might be. What I've found is quite beneficial from it. So rather than having a pre-planned session where somebody knows they're coming, if somebody was just having a particularly bad day that day, and it happens to be the day that I'm in school, and I'm there, the school can then know that I was on my way, or know that this person would benefit from a bit of time out, maybe, whether it be that they've got feelings of being emotional, or they're feeling, angry or anything. And therefore, that person's brought to me, and once I've introduced myself, I can sort of deal with the situation of how they're feeling at that particular time.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
I think the reason it's slightly different is that quite often when you're sort of planned with your sort of sessions that have been pre-booked, um, the person that's coming to see you, they might have had a good day that day or a good couple of days. So, the sort of emotional um, things that they feel, they might not be experience them at that moment or for the last couple of days. So they have to really think about what it is that they're struggling with, because they're maybe not going through that sort of thought process at the time. Whereas with drop-ins, because we're there to see whoever needs us,
yeah,
um, the then school have got the facilities of saying, right, this person's struggling in the last sort of 48 hours. This is a service that we can give to this person.
yeah. No, I find them very, very different, and I think it's something. It's quite similar the things that we actually go over in a drop in. I find, but I feel like just the, as you said, the kind of the method of delivery and how it's a little bit less structured, and it is, as you said, a drop in. You are dropping in for an hour. I feel like it can work quite well.
Yeah, and I think the other good thing about it is, with it being both in school, which I should have mentioned earlier, it's in school or it is online.
Yeah,
The fact that it's online means that we can reach schools far and wide
yeah,
without having to actually be there in the school, which then just means that our services can go further.
yeah. No, it's an interesting kind of side of it, right? Some people prefer online because they can do it from kind of the safe space of somewhere that they already know. And yeah, in person also can work as well because it's. I feel like you can connect a lot more with somebody when you're in the same room as them. And I've been doing them now for a couple of months now. I think you've been doing them longer than me, right?
Yeah, I started, yeah, not long after I'd started, so I started them at Christmas last year.
Yeah.
And mine started actually online.
Hmm.
Um, it means the school has to be a little bit more organised in the fact that because I need to be the young people need to be in a room with a computer that's obviously still private, nobody can hear them. Um, and there needs to be maybe somebody available nearby so that if there's any technical issues. So that was the only thing I was going to say is
Yeah.
that is the problem that I can't control or the school can't control. So if there's issues with the internet or anything like that, or sometimes if I'm doing it from home, which is not a problem at all unless the dog's barking, which you might just have heard then. Um, their issues obviously I can't deal with, but I also think sometimes with situations like that, it makes it a bit more a personal anyway because
Yeah.
I'm not in the school. Um, but yeah, the idea that it can be done online or in a private space one to one, uh, I this is something that we're often evaluating within Spiral, as you know. At the end of every session of a drop-in, there's a very short, very simple questionnaire that we ask the young people,
Yeah.
to sort of say what it is that we've worked on in that particular session, whether they've found it helpful or not. And in that, we always record whether it would be online or face-to-face, with the idea, obviously, that if we found that the one of them had a lower evaluation than the other, we'd be able to look at it and say, well, this isn't working. Why isn't it working?
Yeah.
What could we do to improve our service? So feedback's always welcome when we do things like this, but certainly from the school that I was working with online, they found the service brilliant and it worked for them. Obviously, that's not to say it would work for every school. Currently I'm working in a primary school, which I actually attend face to face. That might not work as well with slightly younger people. So I just think it's really important that we can reach young people in a variety of different ways.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's important.
I feel like, with a lot of the young people I've worked with online, a lot of them have been kind of, quite anxious to use a camera. And I feel like maybe that kind of barrier of online has helped them be more comfortable engaging in a conversation.
I
So,
agree
yeah.
completely. I've found with certain young people, it's like, at the end of the day, the other thing that's obviously also really important to mention is that they are given an opportunity, they're given the choice to do this. Nobody's made to access our services.
Yeah.
So once they're told, look, this is the situation, there's a person in this room or there's a person online, do you want to go and talk to them?
Hmm.
Which is what I find the schools offer. It's a yay or nay, and if they want to come, they know which way they're engaging with us and therefore they're prepared for it. But yeah, I agree. So I think in this day and age young people are quite happy to work with screens. They're not anything like as terrified of the technology as maybe sort of older people like myself would be, and they don't seem to get as stressed with the idea of using screens to talk through.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm a bit old school, I'm used to the good old telephone.
Yeah. No, definitely. I feel like there's a lot of different ways that we can bring out these drop-in services to schools, and we're very flexible in that kind of a way. And yeah, you were mentioning these forms that we fill out at the end of every drop-in session. We kind of go through a form with a young person so that they can fill it out. And as you said, it gives us some nice feedback, so we can always be trying to improve what we do. Because that's really the end goal, right? To be the best that we can be here at Spiral. And as you said, I've only been doing it for a few months, right? But all of the feedback that I've been getting for young people has been very, very, very positive. And I think we're kind of in the process of putting all this information together into another what's the word I'm looking for here? Another collective. Yeah, and
Evaluation.
we're getting another
Yeah.
evaluation with all of these
So
statistics in December, I
yeah, so
believe.
that Yeah, so I've seen the sort of preliminary evaluation. Obviously, it's only been recorded on the people we'd had so far. So a few months ago, I'd seen some pretty pie charts and things that's been put together by somebody from a local university that's doing this as research, and they are going to monitor it with lots of pretty pie charts, as I say, to sort of say what's, what the young, how, like I said before, how the young people see us, whether it was online or face to face, and then what the issues were, and then what their feedback is. The other thing as well, which I quite like about it, Sol, is the fact that they put in the little section at the bottom where they can say, give us what you feel, so that it's the young people's actual words, like, how do you think this session will help you? So then we don't want to put pressure on anybody, and I make it quite clear you don't need to answer if you don't want to, but it's quite basic. What do you think you've got out today? And 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, I find young people are quite happy to share their thoughts, and that way we can get back what it is that's made them feel they've got from the session.
Yeah, and as you said, I feel like the drop-in services are only improving, and like you said, we've kind of been compiling all of this feedback together, and it's only going to get better. I feel like it's a really, really good new kind of service that Spiral started to offer. I think it's very, very helpful. I feel like they're definitely, as you said, it's something that benefits schools a lot.
Agreed. It's great to be part of. It's great, it was something that we started up, as I say, beginning of the year, and there just seems to be so much more interest from schools that hear about the fact that we do it, and yeah, it's just young people just need some time out sometimes, just somebody to talk to without having to go through the whole rigmarole of being referred and waiting on a list. It might just be the simplest thing that they can't get out of a single session that might be helpful to them. Might just be that they wanted half an hour to talk about their own stuff, which I think in today's busy society and the amount of time we all spend online, as I mean social online, I don't just mean obviously through Teams or whatever we're doing it through, but yeah, it's just might just need a bit of space to just offload, and that just might be the simple thing that makes all the difference to a young person.
All in all, a really great service that we're offering. I feel like schools should be happy, and schools should schools, it's a thing that schools would want. I feel like it's something that can take a little bit of a weight off teachers' shoulders as well. I know teachers are very, very busy lives, busy jobs, and lots of things to look after, and I feel like it's something that's very useful.
It is, and that's why we do it. We're here to support the young people, which obviously I've talked about a lot, but I maybe should reiterate that majority of the schools that I've gone into or had any communication with to do this, whether it be the one-to-ones or the drop-in services, they're really, really welcoming, supportive, do their best to encourage us to come in, and I think that's what it is. It's about us working with the schools for the benefit of them and the young people. So because that's primarily what we're here for. We're all here to work together to get the best outcome, aren't we?
Prevent the effects of bullying. That's Spiral's tagline. That's what we try and do, and that's not just in the people that are bullied or the people that do the bullying, it's in everyone around them, and how it kind of ripples out into the rest of the world. So that's just a little bit about some of the new services that Spiral is offering. There's definitely going to be more to come in the future, but I just think it's something that we need to kind of get out there, see if more people would like to adopt it in different schools. Have you got anything else to add here at the end, or?
No, just thanks for having me. I hope I haven't been waffled on too much, because sometimes when I feel nervous I do that.
Well, the whole point of a podcast is to waffle.
Well, I can definitely do that then, Sol.
Lovely. I'd love to have you back on for another episode, but as we're just about to hit the 15 mark here for this one, I think we'll end it there.
Thanks, Sol.
And see you all later.